Hi guys, in this video we will demonstrate and show you about physical and chemical change. First of all, before we start, we will introduce to you for the tools and ingredients before we start our experiment. There will be vitamin C, vinegar, baking soda, cup, salt, benzene, apple, food coloring, water, and the last is oil.
The first example is tearing a paper. We can see a simple physical change. Here, I have a piece of paper. When we tear the paper into smaller pieces, its shape and size change, but it is still made of the same material, which is paper. No new substance is created during this process. The next experiment, we will dissolve the salt into the water. We need two ingredients, which are water and salt. First, fill a glass with water, then add some salt into the glass. The salt will begin to dissolve and seems to disappear in the water.
For the last example, we will mix oil with the water. In this activity, we will need water, oil, and a few drops of food coloring. First, pour some oil into a cup and add a few drops of food coloring. You will notice that the color stays in the small droplets inside the oil. After that, mix the coloring with the oil. Next, pour the oil mixture into a glass of water. Watch closely, the colorful drops begin to sink and burst, creating a magical effect. Even though it looks amazing, no new substance is formed. The oil and water stays separate, which means this is physical change. Now let's look at chemical change. For this experiment, we will use water, benzene, and a vitamin C tablet. First, pour some benzene into a water. The water will turn brown because of the iodine. Next, prepare the vitamin C and put into the mixture. Watch the changes closely. After a few seconds, the color begins to fade and the brown water turns into clear again. The color change shows that a new substance is formed, meaning a chemical change reaction has taken place. Next, let's see another example of chemical changes. For this experiment, we need vinegar and baking soda. First, pour some vinegar into a clear glass of cup. Then, add the baking soda into the vinegar. As soon as the baking soda touches the vinegar, bubbles start to form and the mixture begins to fizz. This happens because a chemical reaction takes place.
For our next experiment, we'll observe what happens when an apple is exposed to air. First, cut the apple into pieces and leave it on a plate for a few minutes. At first, the apple will look fresh and white, but after some time, you'll notice the surface starting to turn brown. This process is called oxidation. It happens when the substances in the apple react with oxygen in the air. For our final experiment, let's take a look at burning a paper. When we set a piece of paper on fire, it quickly turns black, produces smoke, and eventually becomes ash. The paper cannot return to its original form because a chemical reaction has taken place. During burning, the paper reacts with oxygen in the air, which will form new substances such as carbon dioxide, water vapor, and ash. This process is not reversible, which clearly shows that burning paper is a chemical change.